So whether you are a gentleman or a lady, the other person you are chatting and the sentence passes, don't just, oh, I can't, and you laugh it off. Listen. Not because you want to mistrust the person, but you are listening to pick information. And then that will help you make a decision on whether this is the way to go or not. These days, because of high tech, most of the young people are doing a lot of chatting. I prefer the voice, how do you call it? The voice audio. Because I'll hear your voice. I'll get to know the various tones in the voice. Because eventually, if you don't take care, you'll be misled. A lot of things are flying around. And before you realize, you're into a place you don't really want to be. Thank you.
The question is, we've heard so much about give freedom, give space. But the question is, when do you set a boundary? And what are the practical steps in setting that and implementing the boundaries? So it's an open question for all the panel.
Before we got married, I set certain boundaries. I came from a polygamous home, and I saw the way my step-parents mothers treated my mother. My father married four wives. The last one died, and he stayed for about 15 years before he married my mother. So before my mother got into the marriage, the first three children of my father were older than her. So they couldn't know whether to call her auntie, sister, or whatever. And so I can remember the treatment. We used to be at Tema, and they were coming to church at Palladium. And after church, we visit the children in Dansuma. My father drives his car, my mother drives her own. We were six. Three will join our father in his car. Three of us, normally I want to join my mom. And when Papa gets into the house of the senior daughter, as soon as they get in, they close the gate. We'll stand behind the gate till Papa finishes. And then we all move. And there were so many things I didn't like. So the first boundary I set in my marriage was that I don't want premarital sex. I said to my husband, even before he died, that the day I will hear that he has a child somewhere, I will drop the marriage. I won't marry again. I don't like stepchildren. That is me at the time, anyway. So I strictly set that goal, that no touching. And if you see movies, you see that the moment you start kissing one another, the next thing that follows is sex. And I didn't want born one. To me, I don't want born one. And after I always told him that when I have two children and you die today, I won't marry again. So I've said it before he even passed. You see, so we should be careful with how far we go with our partners, husbands to be. Don't be alone in secret places where just the two of you are. You can't put knife and yam together. Definitely there will be a cutting. So please, our young people, don't go to secluded places with your fiancé, especially when you have decided that we are going to marry. The temptation is very strong. Be open. Be at a place where everybody is. And when you start courting, you have decided to marry, don't be going frequently into the man's house, especially if he lives there alone. If he wants to visit to know how you cook, well, he can pass by. For me, my auntie was a big-time caterer. We live just around the Sankara Circle. We share walls with Netherlands Embassy, and we had a snack shop in front of the house. So sometimes we come to the house, you see how we are busily preparing pastries, and we were giving lunch to mobile house. So every day we were cooking. So he saw my cooking skills. Pastor Kofi Obobisa, each time he comes by, I say, he sees how we are busy doing things together. So don't go to his house, especially when he's alone, the ladies. And also, you can explore ways of loving each other without getting too physical. Study your partner's love language, and then meet him at that point. Some people like flowers, like our mother in this house. That's what she likes. Some people like to give to people. When they say thank you to you, I'm happy. I'll give everything to somebody in need, and I feel good about it. Look at the person's love language and do it for him, other than touching and going beyond certain boundaries. And then remember why you are coming together as children of God. We are royal priesthood, a peculiar people who have been chosen by God to bring glory to his name. So we must be reminded of why we are coming together and our decision to walk in holiness. We should be committed and then help to stay in focus, of our goal. Be motivated even in times of challenges, because you have committed yourself to each other and you know where you are going. You are careful to handle things. So this is what I set as my boundaries. And it was done in the spirit of love, because I was looking for a better future, not somebody who just jeopardize his life. One thing I want to say to you young ladies is that the moment you give yourself to the man, Asa, let the man desire you. I remember I did it at the day where we got married. I said, this night, they are not going to do anything. He said, hey, my trains are, and then Yamia Dumna, Yeshida Mawari as well. Oh, I can come on, you do it. I said, what you say? I said, so what? So don't open up to them. The moment he sees that thing, you have reduced your value. So uphold your dignity and your virginity. Thank you.
You see, when you get married, you can have sex, the number of times you want. Even after the honeymoon, please keep yourself pure. Okay? Let's say that, yes, we are youth, all right? If it happens that even before you knew the Lord, you are not a virgin, huh? If the Lord gives you a man to marry, please be a virgin to that man. Yes, just keep yourself pure. You see, sometimes these things, when you fall, you have this premarital sex. Sometimes you may lose your partner. It does happen a lot. If you give yourself to it, because God said it, because God hates it, when you do it, sometimes the relationship breaks. I'm talking from some experience I've had. So it is better to keep yourself pure. Recently, we were talking, I was engaging pastor in the office, said some ladies say, if I don't have sex with the man, how would I know? If the man is big, until the married night. And I'm like, I cannot. This one there is too heavy for me. What would you do? You see, you have entered but God will not bring you to that level, even if there's something you need to learn to overcome that. So don't be afraid that, I should know the man. Some people also believe that I should be pregnant before I get into marriage. Is that God's will? Will that be pleasing to God? So please, just keep yourself pure. As for when you get married, it's a motorway. How many times you want it, you can have it. So please, exercise patience. Come to God and come and stand at the altar in purity. See, the veil we cover our faces with, it has a meaning. And so you cannot lie to God and come and stand here. You may have consequences. So please keep yourself pure. So me, by the grace of God, I kept myself pure before I got into marriage. It doesn't spoil anything. Doesn't spoil anything. Maybe your peers, they will tell you all kinds of things. Some of the things we were hearing, that if you don't have sex at a certain age, you become Jimmy. It's a lie. It's a blatant lie. So please, keep yourself pure. God will bless you. Amen.
Keeping yourself pure is what God demands from us. And there's this man of God who said that when you are in courtship, you have to open your eyes wide. Open your eyes wide. Let the eye go everywhere as you walk in courtship with that person. Because the moment you get married, you don't have to be looking for faults again. Because in your courtship, you have to learn to correct those faults. If you don't correct them there, then please, when you enter, don't say that, I want to come out of it. So we must be careful when we are walking.
There are setting boundaries as youth. One of the things that I always say is that you need to have personal boundaries that you set for yourself. Now, one of the things we don't do is that we like setting boundaries for people when we ourselves, we don't have boundaries for ourselves. Now, boundaries are not only in terms of just keeping yourself as a virgin. There are many things that you need to do as a youth that becomes personal boundaries to yourself. There are youths here who drink alcohol. Now, because they didn't set that as boundaries to themselves, so they go into marriage, they become part of it. You get a partner who drinks, and then it's part of it. Some of them, when they are married, they say, oh, you take some small wine, and then it makes you ginger or honey, because you don't have boundaries. Now, when you set personal boundaries, it means that things you dislike are things you bring into the marriage. These things are not things we should discuss here. They are boundaries. So you tell the person, this thing I don't like. Me, my wife knows we don't drink alcohol in my house. Now, why did I say that as a boundary? When I was growing up, I grew up in a compound house. All my uncles, they were alcoholics. I see people becoming prominent people. But I see in my house, people that their father had built house for them, all of them were living in that room. Everybody was living there. And then what my grandmother was always doing was that she would always give, because when you are me, you know we are all boys. When she sees you that you are boys like that, then she will give you room. There, she gave us room. Then I told her, me, I don't like this room. Then she said, why? Your mother have told you not to take the room. Everybody takes the room. I take. My brother, the military guy, was forcing me. All the guys in the area have room. I said, listen, everybody I've seen in this house, when they take the room, they remain in this house. Me, I don't want to remain in this house. I am bigger than this house. I won't remain here. Why should I take room here? Why would I see them drinking? All of them alcoholic. All of them stayed in that house. They died in that house. We buried them in that house. Because they never set boundaries. So those are some of the boundaries I set for myself. When I was growing up, I hated alcohol. There were things I disliked so much. And I brought them. My wife, she knows I don't drink alcohol. So you won't tell me this one is Irish cream. When I see it, I'll break the bottle or I'll pour it. As long as I see that it's 1%, I'll tell you this one is alcohol. I will hate it. So boundaries are not only to do with your sexuality, where you form. So most of the ladies, they are like, we said, it's because we don't have boundaries. That's why sometimes when we come into the thing, people, but if you have boundaries, a man knows that, Charlie, you have boundaries. He knows that this one, you don't do this, even if you are in a relationship. There's a story that was being told about a lady who had become so prominent. She was working in the UN, and then she came to do something. And then when she came there, all the guys that was, most of them have had sex with her before, a prominent person. And then when she was to deliver the speech, she couldn't deliver the speech because she never said boundary. She never saw herself as a prominent person who would stand in front of, because she had given herself to them. So set personal boundaries as yourself. Things you dislike, there are boundaries that you set for yourself. So when you're coming to the relationship, you say, this thing is no go area. This thing is this thing is this. Then the relationship becomes progressive, and then you move on. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
A few things to consider in setting boundaries. We must all agree. So that one it's within the relationship. We must all agree. So whatever boundary I bring, I must make sure my spouse agree with the boundary. So it comes with communication. You don't just say it, but you say it and communicate it the way your friend, your spouse, the person you're having platonic relationship will agree. The second thing we need to consider is that we must not intentionally break or compromise a boundary. It must be part of the rule, because that's where the mistrust come in. The third thing is that we must not take undue advantage of the boundaries we set. And some people do that. Oh, we have set a boundary. Pastor says he will not touch any woman. And then when it is time for you to give me your body, you be giving me excuses. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 1 year, because there's a boundary. That's wickedness. You are taking undue advantage of the boundaries. So let's say it's okay, it's only my wife's family that will come and live in our home. So somebody traveled from abroad, my family members, okay, you know what? Can we allow the person to come and stay for a week? No. We set a boundary that your family member will not come and live in the house. So it won't happen. Oh, really? So we need to be very careful. Number 4, we must disagree to agree when a boundary is broken. Because human beings are human beings and anything can happen. So please, when a boundary should be broken, don't hold the person forever. We are believers, we are Christians. We need to learn to forgive people. But don't also say that because I'll be forgiven and my wife or my husband is a Christian, I'll go and break a boundary and I'll quote Matthew. And it says 70 times 7. Hello? And then finally, number 6. We must build what you have broken quickly. I tell people, if you break trust, I'll forgive you. But build your trust back. I can't build it for you. Build it back. You broke it. How you build it is not my business. How you will cause me to know that I can trust you again is your business. So when we break any boundary, let us learn to build it quickly. Let's build it quickly. God bless you.